What's happening? This is Ryan Dawkins, and you're tuning in to The Loft.
Has brought out the best of me.
Welcome back to The Loft. You guys are new here, please like, comment, subscribe, and if you're not new, welcome back. Today, joining us in The Loft is a very special guest, a very good friend of mine. I mean, there's so much to say about this man, but all I gotta say is this dude just ran 3,082 miles in 79 days with a 15-pound weighted vest for human trafficking. My good friend Andrew Linder. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, bro?
Dude, thanks for coming on the pod, man. I know you got your busy schedule now, and when do you go? You go back to DC?
I'll go back tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Tomorrow.
No, could get you, man. Well, first off, congratulations, like, my man. Congratulations, dude. Because when was it? Probably a little over a year ago. You're on
Last August.
Last August, you're on the pod.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and then you said you were going to do it, and you fucking did it.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
it, man. Just keeping the commitments, that I make, and I'm very true on. If I say I'm gonna do something, I want to fulfill those things.
Yeah.
Because once you stop doing that, people stop believing in you.
Right.
And my word means a lot to me and to the people around me.
Yeah. You, I guess I have so many questions, but talked a lot on the podcast about, because you were like in the running journey. I remember how much you talked about how much you loved it and what it's done for you. We'll get into the journey, but being back now, seeing your friends and family, how is it? How do you feel now than when you started? What do you think you've learned since you started?
I mean, how important those people that I have in my life really do mean so much to me. I wouldn't have gotten why people want to talk to me about what I did and all that stuff would not have been done if it wasn't for the group of guys that was with me, and then with the support system that I had back home.
Right.
That's the great stuff. I mean, those are the people that allowed me to get this thing done. Like, if you want to do good things, do them by yourself. If you want to do exceptional things, if you want to make an impact in this world, have a team around you.
Exactly, dude. And like that, I gotta shout out your sister for a minute. She's been like one of your biggest fans. Amber Linder, if you're watching, shout out to you, because I've seen how much she supported you and like doing the runs with you and shit when you came home. Like, that's cool shit to see. That's really cool to see. And yeah, dude, and like when you set out to go on this journey, when did you decide you were gonna do it?
Last August 27th, I sent a text to a couple of my boys, and I said, "Hey, we're gonna run across America."
Hell yeah! And these guys that were with you along the journey, were they from this area, or did you meet them along the way?
No, so one of them, Eric, who's been my friend from high school, and then now does online coaching with me, trains with me, helps keep my body together. So he came with me. Everyone else is, just my, one guy I met in the summer. I met literally in September.
Yeah.
My boy Chase, and he's become one of my best friends. And just an amazing human being. He's my breathwork coach, keeps me aligned and all that good stuff. So he's came. If you've seen any of my videos, he's never wearing a shirt. Yeah, that's him. I don't think he owns a shirt.
I mean, if I looked like him, I wouldn't wear a shirt either. I mean, come on now. But nah, that's incredible. And then it's cool you had a good team and like you had a consistent regimen, which is really cool too. Like being able to, have a breathing coach, and then I'm sure you're stretching, you're eating. I know people who cooked for you and stuff like that. It's really nice to see. It's really good to see people support you in that. And so when you started in California.
Started in California.
Right. And then so you ran all the way to New York. So each day you set to do 40 miles a day, correct?
Yeah, that was the goal. The goal was to run 40. We were actually running around 42 miles a day early on. And that was just because of like weather and all that stuff. My date was to end on May 18th. That was the goal. 79 days later, May 18th, that was my goal. So what we started doing, adding some miles. If I felt good, I'd run 42, right? But the least I was willing to do was run 40. But that first week, I got punched in the face, man. I was going absolutely through it. By day 3, I was only doing 30 miles a day.
Yeah.
So we had the first day I ended up doing like 46. The next day I did 45, feeling good. Day 3, I came out. I think I did 44. Oh yeah, I did 45 with Marlon that day. We crushed that day. And I woke up the next day and my body was just like, couldn't. I was literally in tears. Like I was in tears walking.
Yeah, I think I saw some of your videos, and Yeah, and you vlogged each day, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So it's great to have and be able to look back on that. And I took a journal. I journaled every single night.
Nice.
Shout out Mindset Marlon, who was my mindset coach. We journaled every single night, make sure I had all that stuff. And it's great to look back on that now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, how are you going to react after that happens? Because it's day 4, and everyone's like, wow, this guy's already he's doing 30 miles a day now. Like this is 10 miles off. Like how long is this going to last for? So yeah, dude, it was something.
Yeah, and something we talked about before the pod is like you made sure you just took into account each day. You didn't overlook the day you were currently in. You stayed present. I can imagine, right?
That's really, I would say, the biggest thing that got me through this journey was that I focused on that day. Whether it was a good day or a bad day, I never let it go into the next day. Like, we had some amazing freaking days out there. We had fun, and we're partying out on, running down the highway, just having fun with it.
Yeah.
And then you don't know, dude, that next day you might wake up and you just feel terrible. And then it's raining outside. Or, when we were dealing with snow in Arizona, you don't know what the next day is going to bring. So we literally just completely reset. When like that alarm clock went off at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's a new day. My body's going to feel how it's going to feel, and we're just going to attack it like it's a new day. What happened yesterday, it's a completely new race today. What happened on day 16 doesn't matter what happened on, like, it doesn't affect day 17, good or bad. Yeah,
that's a great way to look at it. And throughout each day, how long did it take for you to run the 40 miles?
We were out there roughly 12 to 13 hours a day. In the beginning, we really didn't have a plan. Like we didn't have a plan, and that's
truth is out, guys.
Yeah, it's like, all right, dude, like we're gonna just start running. Then if I like need to eat some lunch, we're gonna do that, And I was trying to still eat really healthy, like trying to keep my diet and everything. And I was burning 9,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm on the phone with my mom, and I can't even talk. Like I'm struggling to form words because I was trying to eat healthy, and I'm only bringing in like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 calories, and I'm at a complete a huge deficit. I'm sweating in my sleep. Like it was just a mess, and but we talked about it later on, and I think that helped us out because we knew we were underprepared. Like, you can't prepare for something like this. No one's ever done it. There's no training plan. Like, so it's just like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And we looked at each other. We're like, we're going to adapt.
Right.
And that's why, I said what I said is that planning is overrated. Adapting is underrated.
Right.
And I think that I proved that, throughout the 79 days.
Say it one more time.
So planning is overrated. Adapting is underrated.
We'll let that sit for a minute.
Yeah.
I like it. It's true. And it's, dude, honestly, because what happens when you plan too much, you do nothing, in my opinion. Like, for example, you going into that marathon, you shouldn't have planned for it, because that's a part of the journey, is figuring shit out along the way, and that's what creates the growth and what leads to the Andrew Linder that you are today. That's why it's the first question I asked you, is because the journey is everything, and the more people can learn that, and the less people can think and overthink shit. Because dude, odds are, if you had some crazy itinerary and you're not hitting those marks each day because you ran 40 miles a day before, because you said every day is different. Some days you're gonna come out hot, some days you're gonna come out cold. If you're not hitting these marks, it's gonna be, you're not gonna reach your goal. All good. But you're not gonna reach your goal because you're just having fun with it. You're going with the flow, and that's something I really like. That's why I said, like, I like when you said that, because it's very, very true, and hopefully more people can learn from that. For sure. That was like one of the advice when I was like started planning for this. I reached out to a few people who have ran across America in years past, and one of the guys, Timmy, shout out Timmy, and he told me, he was like, dude, one of the worst things you could do is plan the route out exactly for what you are planning to run for the entire journey. Because it's like, this is the problem. Like, what happens if on day 12 a road's closed? Well, then the rest of your route for 79 days is wrong. Right. So now you're just working to get back. He's like, dude, like, have an overview of like, okay, this is the goal. This is where we want to go. And it's like, then every day just go and make sure that it's like where you need to go. But it's like, don't waste your time doing these fine details. You're going to figure it out. Right. And, we did. And, shout out Brandon, my crew chief, going through every single night. And, like, dude, some days in Arizona, we have all like Navajo Nation, Indian reservations. He's going out the night, like, after we're done running, after being out on the road for 13 hours, to then go ahead 40 miles to make sure that we can go run through that area. Oh, so he drives and checks the route. He would go check the route, because in those areas, like, there's one day where I got stuck where guys couldn't get to me, no car access, nothing, for 15 miles.
and it's 98 degrees.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm pissed.
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling for sure.
You know, when you think you're going to see someone in 4 miles and then you're like, dude, where are you guys at? And they're like, oh, we got stopped, you know, by the police on the Indian reservation. We're not allowed to go through there, you know, and I got no water left.
Yeah, that's survival. That's literally survival.
It's not fun, man.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah, and when you were going through from California to New York, I can imagine you've seen a lot of different things, been in a lot of different places. I mean, Christ, you ran across the country. Is there anything that you've seen or people you've met that like really stood out to you?
I think there's 2 parts to that question. So first off, one of the biggest things that I realized is like how like nice people actually are.
Right.
Like, we hear so much about how bad society is and like how bad people, dude. The amount of times people stopped, they had no idea who I was. They didn't know what I was doing. Just stop, like, yo, do you need water? Like, yo, days it was when I'm running where it's raining or snowing out. Like, yo, do you need a ride into town? Like, I'm talking like not just 1 or 2 times, Kev. I'm talking like every single day, multiple times throughout the day. People were stopping and asking me like, hey, do you need anything? Not asking for anything, not like being literally genuine people like, hey, dude, like, what do you need? I got some water. Do you need extra clothes? Someone like, hey, I got a blanket in the back of my car because one day it was snowing out. And he's like, yo, I got a blanket in my back of my car. Do you need it?
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
know, and it's like all we hear about these stories about how bad people are, and I think like, dude, we don't give people enough time to actually explain. Like, we hear the bad stories because that's what, you know, maybe media or whatever's promoting and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, take people for what they really are, and there's so many amazing people out there that really just want to help you, man. And so many people helped us along this journey, bringing us food when we were running through their town, like countless people bringing us dinner and like, you know, all types of stuff, and it's so cool to see, and that was really one of my favorite parts of the entire journey.
That's amazing, and it's true because you go on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, and a lot of hate is being promoted constantly because there's an election going on this year, and like someone's trying to take over the other, and it's the country I think is slowly starting to realize that, you know, there needs to be more love in it. I think there hasn't been love in this country for a long time. A lot of people are always worried about their own problems, and to see, you know, because like I said, the average person is nice. I like to think that most people I come across are like good people, and to have people who didn't even know you offer you food, drinks, rides to town, like that's cool. And I'm glad you saw that side of humanity because not a lot of people have seen that. So it's nice for you to talk about that shit. And speaking of people and people seeing you, you've been picking up a lot of news coverage too, which has been really cool. So how did that begin? So did someone find you, or how did this really start to pick up steam on the media side?
Oh, the shout out to Eric, man. Eric was just reaching out to, you know, pretty much all the news stations that we were coming through, and then once they heard about the story, they're like, oh, we'd love to do a story about you. So
that's sick.
I mean, the news stations were great, you know. And then also like a lot of them were saying, I remember in St. Louis, I'm talking to her and she's like, you know, I'm so happy to do this story because this is the first good story I've done in over 2 months.
Right.
You know, it's like people are constantly doing stories about, you know, bad things that are happening. And it's like, you know, some fresh air. Let's talk about something that's actually good that's going on.
So refreshing, dude. And the cause, human trafficking, is amazing too. What made you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it was that part was probably like the biggest like no-brainer of like what I wanted to do. You know, last year when I had ran a sub 3-hour marathon, I got interviewed after, and they asked me what was next, and I said I was going to run a 12-hour race. And then at that 12-hour race, I came on and talked on the podcast last year with you, and then I said I wanted to do a 100-mile race, and I wanted to raise a ton of money for charity. This is last April. I had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to raise a ton of money for charity. Yeah. So I did the 100-miler in December, and then it was like, okay, we started coming up with this idea, and I was like, okay, well, we can do it for human trafficking. And the reason that comes from is, you know, I joined law enforcement, you know, to go after those people. And that was my passion. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go after some of the worst people, and that's what I identify that as. So raising money and raising awareness for that, it was a no-brainer.
It's amazing. How much did you raise?
Over $110,000.
Congrats, Andrew.
I appreciate it,
that's sick, dude. In 79 days, you raised 100K. That's amazing. And to see the support for your cause and to see it actually come to fruition is really refreshing to see. Like I said, as a friend of yours, and it's so funny because I always look back, and the one thing I always practice is gratitude. And because when you look at where you started, and you started in California, not knowing where you were gonna end up, is that something although your body hurt probably most of the days, is that something you did practice when you were on this journey?
Oh, I mean, that's something me and Marlon would practice every single day. Just having the support that I had, but then being able to, early on, I would just tell myself, I'll quit tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes though. And I think that's what people don't understand. Like, if I can get through today, I'll quit tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And when I was really going through it, and there's days where I couldn't sleep. That was one of the biggest problems I had. I wasn't able to sleep because I was just in too much pain. And I'm laying in bed, it's 3:00 in the morning, and I'm either just crying by myself in the back of the RV or whatever it is. It's all right, dude, if I can get through tomorrow, today, mm-hmm. I'll quit tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful that I can get through the next day, and that was my focus, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. And to get through this journey, what are some of the things you practiced that you have brought into your life at home?
I would just say truly being present in the moment. Right. That's the only time is, we would say time is fake, really. Yeah. We're out here for 13 hours, time is fake. Just focus on what actually is in front of you and attacking that with a passion unknown to mankind, and you can figure so much stuff out. But something that this journey has just taught me is that you can do whatever you want. We didn't have, I didn't have a ton of money or a huge following or anything like that to start this journey. It was just okay, this is my idea. I'm going to surround myself around some amazing human beings, and we're going to get this thing done.
Yeah, it's awesome. I remember your videos and your GoPro when you're running in the woods. I
remember
remember those miles, 1 mile down, 2 miles. I remember those videos. Yeah. Bro. I said I was there from the beginning, and I watched your journey, and it's just, like I said, it's just so cool to see and so nice to see, and even your content has evolved to me in a great way, and just seeing people believe in you now because your consistency is amazing. And it's what I talked about last week. I did a podcast and said I'm starting to read The Law of Attraction. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is the consistency of it. When you have consistency, it breeds confidence. And I think people are really confident in you now. And I wish I could go when you came back to Philly and you did the what did you do?
We went to the Rocky Steps, right. And then we ran around and finished at McGillens.
Yeah, I want to come see you, but dude, it's been great to see. And your mom and dad, family, what is their reaction? I'm curious to be a part of the Linder family. What's been going on in the Linder family?
Well, both my sisters are just savages, man.
Right, yeah.
They're the best, dude. They came out when we were in Ohio, and my older sister doesn't really run much.
What's your older sister's name?
Amanda.
Linder. Okay, yeah, cool.
So all A's, and then so she comes out and just bangs out 39 miles.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
What?
And then Amber the next day runs 41.
Get the fuck.
Yo,
what?
Dude, and they don't Amber has started her running journey and all that stuff, and I'm so proud of her achieving all of her goals and stuff.
Yeah.
And but Amanda is just a sicko, dude. Just came out, but it was hard being out there and then seeing them in pain, but they're doing it. I'm guys, we don't have to do that. Yeah. No, we're gonna finish this day with you. And it was it was so cool, man. And my mom, she's obviously my mom was a great athlete growing up, and so she kind of gets it, but she wants me to just kind of chill out.
Yeah.
These last 79 days, they gave her a ton of stress. She was up all the time.
But you guys are calling the phone every day, I can imagine.
Yeah, calling the phone, but she's my mom was just a nervous wreck as just being a mom,
right,
and I remember when I told them, my mom freaked out.
Really?
I told them on my birthday.
That's a good way to drop it on your birthday.
Yeah, so we're at the house and everyone's over, and I told my mom, and my sister has a funny video. My mom reacted, but she's screaming, she's
really?
yelling, and she's what? Why do you have to do? She's just being a mom and stuff like that. And then she's asking my dad. My dad's dude, if he says he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. So there's no point of trying to convince him out of it. And so, but they're the best, man. They support me so much, and with everything that I do and everything I say I'm gonna do. They might not love it, but they support me, and I couldn't be more grateful and thankful for them, man.
Yeah, man, you are the epitome of having faith, man. Having faith in yourself, your team, and seeing how it's all kind of happened for you, which has been great. And so this is a very open question, but what's next for you? You did 79 days, 40 miles a day. Is there something that's going to be next for you? Is there plans for you where you just right now, you just kind of taking it day by day?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go ahead and announce like, this won't be the last really big thing that I do.
For sure.
Like,
I mean, obviously, yeah.
It's just I love it, and I'll go ahead and I'm gonna go chase after that that 12-hour race I ran last year, the Loop-de-Looper on August 3rd. So I'll go chase after that. That's the next race I'll do. I have Chicago Marathon later in the year. I'm hiking Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, so
amazing.
we're gonna bang that out in December with a few of my boys, and I'll do that with the 15-pound weighted vest and have some fun. Just to add a little bit more of the challenge. But yeah, we have some ideas. I want to get the logistics down for everything. I think one thing that I know that I think 79 days will be the longest that I do something, man.
Right.
It was a toll on everybody, man.
Right.
Like on the crew, on me, on my family, and all that stuff. And it's just I think if we can keep it a little bit less than less than that time, it'll be a little bit better. I think like that's the one thing, like the crew, man, like those guys had to sacrifice everything I had to sacrifice, all just because like they wanted to be part of the mission of like, yo, we're going to raise a ton of money for charity. They're not like, those guys don't get like the fame of like, yo, achieving this, being the first person to run across America with a 15-pound weighted vest. They don't get any of that.
Right.
They got to be so selfless every single day, and they're all grown men, and they were doing things on during the run that they might not want to be doing. Like, no one wants to be carrying me out of the car, like helping me get like change my clothes because I can't move, like all that stuff. But it's like, yo, this is what we have to do. This is the mission, and we're gonna get this thing done, man. So shout out to those guys. Truly had the best crew in the world.
Yeah, can you name them by name?
Yeah, so we got the crew chief, Brandon Chambers, my breathwork coach, Chase Mangini, mindset coach, Marlon Johnson, Eric Kevlak, who's just a Swiss Army knife, man. Dude, yo, when I tell you, like, Eric had to do everything on this run, dude. It'd be like, yo, Eric, you go grab groceries. It's like, yo, dude, you got to go run 40 miles with Lynn right now. Yo, his foot's hurting, dude. We got to figure this out. Yeah. And then Nick Vlay, who filmed everything, man, and did all that stuff so that everyone could see everything. It's not an easy environment to live in for those 79 days either, man. Like, we're in an RV, and you're away from your family and friends, and it's everyone's working for 13 hours. Like people think like maybe you're like sitting around and all that. Like none of that. None of that, dude.
You're running. Like, it's consistent. There's consistent effort that goes into it. It's you know what I mean? Checking up on Lynn, cooking the food, prepping, and also when you're done running, I mean, you can't feel your body. Like, it's like getting ready for the next day, dude. Like, cooking dinner, right? And then like getting back to the RV park. Like, we had to find a place to stay every single night, right? So we're going to an RV park, and early on we were able to early on we didn't have the RV for the first 10 days because that was the RV wasn't ready. So there was like a miscommunication. We showed up to pick up the RV. And so like everything that could have went wrong in the beginning went wrong. And like I think that set us up for like a smooth back half of the run because we dealt with so much adversity up front. And those guys we were living out of a Land Rover with 6 guys. That's insane.
With all of our luggage.
Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah, that's as crammed as it gets, bro.
While things are going wrong, while like I'm not running and all that stuff. So I mean it's just being able to adapt, man.
Definitely makes you. I was about to say, but definitely makes you adapt. And was there ever a point where you were going to quit?
No. I mean, I would tell myself like, maybe I'll just quit tomorrow. There was a day I was running through Zuni, New Mexico. It was day 17, I believe, and that was probably the poorest area that we ran through, and it was. It was so poor, it was sad, and just the people walking around. I said like to try to explain people back here. It was like Kensington, but worse because like none of the houses like were over 7 feet high.
Right. Like
you're able to walk up and push down these houses, and people are just all over the place. It's like there's dogs everywhere, and me and Marlon had gotten attacked by dogs literally the whole time running through. We're just like swinging our our walking sticks trying to defend ourselves, and that day was. You walked into this city, like that town, and you literally felt something leave you. And that's the one day where I was like, dude, like, what am I doing out here? Like, I was just like, man, I don't feel like running. Like, I don't feel like doing this at all. Like, that was the day I was like, dude, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And then that's like the first day, though, that like I questioned, like like what's going, like why am I like, you know, just kind of like what,
why am I out
like
here?
right, like, and like you just have to kind of reset and go back to everything. And you know, the next day we ended up, you know, cooking and having a good day and all that stuff. But yeah, that was like one of the toughest days mentally that I was like kind of questioning things. Not physically, it was just like mentally.
Very
like,
mental battle for sure. And when you guys did reach the finish line, what was like the instant feeling you had when you finally realized I'm done?
I was just more proud than anything. More proud of the team for us getting this done and doing what we said we were going to do.
Yeah.
I live my life by that. You know, if I say I'm going to do something, like if I say I'm going to be there at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll be there at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's just, you know, whether it's running across America or going to grab you a glass of water, I want to get that thing done, you know, with a passion. And, you know, we did that and you know, raising over $100,000 for charity, you know, at that point, it was just a beautiful thing, man. And seeing the guys just stay committed for 79 days and us getting that done. It was just a proud feeling that, yeah, we did this.
Right.
You know, we did this.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like, it's a cool thing that say you've been able to do, which is the first, right, with a 15-pound weighted vest. That leads into my next question. I really want to pick your brain about the dynamics of running, because like it's good for you, but it's definitely hard, right? So you're running 40 miles a day. You're at mile 10. There's 30 miles left. You know, what's getting you through each mile? Like, what's going on in the mind of Andrew Linder to get yourself through that? What kind of battles are you fighting, and how do you overcome that each and every day?
Yeah, I mean, well, at mile 10 we had breakfast every day.
Yeah.
So mile
okay,
10
so I guess it's a bad.
mile 10 was a good one. So BC would make breakfast for mile 10, but it was really like we had aid stations, you know, every 4 miles. And I literally took this journey 4 miles at a time. And I knew my body would adapt, and like maybe my right shin is hurting, or, you know, maybe my left knee is hurting, or whatever it is. But it's like over those 4 miles, things can change, you know. And if I had to go rub on some arthritis cream, or, you know, some like a Shea Pure Naturals, which is just like, you know, a rub on, kind of like an icy hot, but a little bit better for you. And it really was just taking it like, yo, I know I can run for 4 more miles. And then I get to those 4 miles and there's going to be an aid station. I'm going to see the guys. And that has gotten me through every race that I've done. And like all the journeys is just like breaking everything up. You know, when we were doing our 100-miler, Marlon came out and he paced me for that. And it was tough, dude. It was through the mountains, and it rained the entire time. It's in December. It's like 34 degrees, just above freezing. And it rained, like downpoured for 30 hours. Yeah. And it was literally like, yo, can we get to the next aid station? You know, and then my other buddy DJ, like he's out there running with me. He's pacing me, and he's like, dude, we just got to go see the boys. You know, and then like that's how, like, you know, we would say like the boys are bopping like during the run. Like we're screaming it, and it's like, you know, that's kind of just like the thing, dude. It's like, yo, can we get back to seeing the boys again? Right. And then like things reset. You know, it's like, oh, another race of 4 miles. Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's constantly chasing something. You're giving yourself something to look forward to, I guess you would say, right?
Oh, dude, 100%, man. You gotta, like, I tell people all the time, like, you gotta, you know, bring in the small wins. Like, stop like trying to, you know, you want to be a millionaire, stop like waiting to celebrate until you're a millionaire. I'm not saying go out and party every single night, but dude, you just made $1,000 a day. Like, dude, that's awesome. That's a freaking win, bro. Like, stop trying to like do these end goals. Give yourself the small wins. It's important. Someone asked me yesterday, yo, how can I start waking up at 5 a.m.? I'm like, okay, well, what time do you wake up now? He's like 7. I was like, bro, try to wake up at 6:55 tomorrow. Stop just like going straight to 5. How long is that going to last? One day, 2 days? Like, people try to go from like eating these crazy diets, like, yo, like you just like completely switch over. It's like, dude, how long is that lasting? You have to slowly adapt. And it's like, bro, it's a lifestyle. It's not a, you know, it's I don't know, man. I think people just like think like the instant gratification. Nothing in life that's like worth having is instant. Right. So just take the time, dude. Exactly. You know?
Yeah, and that's where it kind of leads back to gratitude. I think, you know, when you start, like I said, when you start somewhere, I always look back when I started at Patty Wax on Welsh. Like, we talk about it all the time. We laugh about it all the time. Oh, man, Jerry behind the camera. I look back at those days, right? Like I always put myself in those days when I was DJing off a laptop every Friday and Sunday, and maybe private events Saturdays here and there. And then there comes a time in your life where you have to make a decision on what you're going to do. And like, to me, I was like, do I want to do a 9 to 5 and just quit DJing because it's not going to last forever? Or do I figure out a way to make it happen? And that's a real question I asked myself like 2-3 years ago. And ever since then, I've doubled down on myself and the career path I was going to choose. And, like I was telling you, I booked my first destination wedding yesterday in Puerto Rico, and like I got a lot of cool things I'm going to announce. But the point of it being is every single day, every single gig that I've done, I've been grateful for, right? So if I'm playing at Ubon for the first time, I'm like, wow, it's going to be so sick. And I did it. And then there comes a point where it's like, okay, what's next? And it's the constant natural growth that I think a lot of people forget or they just ignore, right? Because that's part of the journey. Because it's like, for you running, for sure, I'm like, you start running, your knee hurts. Oh, fuck, how can I make that go away? All right, cool. Like, I throw some cream on it. Now you learn what that cream is. And then you just grow from everything you go through. And like, I think a lot of people forget about that now. And then they see the results of you coming home and, you're on the news and you got all your friends supporting you. Like, you got some people running with you, like, but they don't see the beginning. They don't see the things you learn along the way. And I think a lot of people are scared to go on that journey. And I think that's what makes your journey so amazing, is that you did take that undertaking. The 3,000 miles is like insane to people. Some people don't even want to drive that shit, let alone run it across the country. So I think if there's something that people can take from your journey, it's that just start. You didn't. You plan somewhat, obviously, but you don't got to know all the answers. No. And who knows where you're going to end up. And then did you honestly expect, because we'll get into this in a second, but did you expect to, one, feel the way you feel now, two, be in the position you are now? Did you expect back in August, did you expect to be in this position?
No, dude, not at all. Like, I just say, like, this is what I want to do, and I'll figure it out later. Now, like, this has, some would say that maybe it's like a little bit of a fault of mine. Like, I don't believe that I'm ever going to fail. Right. Like, I'm just going to learn a lesson and move on. And I just believe in myself, and I believe in the people that I have around me, that I'm just going to get whatever I want done. Mm-hmm. And people, I don't know if that's a cockiness. It's just like, I'm going to work so hard that, like, you're not going to be able to tell me I can't do something. Right. And I think that's just really what it comes down to. Like, tell me I won't do it. I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to make sure I did it. Right. Yeah. And that's just, that's just what it is.
But that's a mindset that people don't have, because I don't know what's been going on with the media or whatever, but people are just told that it's okay to suck. It's okay to fail. Honestly, like, there's participation trophies in everything now. Yeah. And I think we're in a world where it's okay to feel bad for yourself. Yeah. And, someone like you, like I said, I would love to go back and watch all the videos you put out of when your legs hurt, you couldn't walk, your boy was cooking for you, like shit like that, because that's where the growth comes from. And I think, like I said before, I think people tend to feel bad for themselves. And the second you replace that with, how do I get this done, instead of why I can't get this done, is when your mind changes,
Yeah, there's a couple things. One, like, to go off your point too, is like, everyone thinks you're an overnight success. Yeah. People don't see you like at midnight in your room on your computer figuring out how to make the best set for Saturday. Right. People are just like, oh, this dude's just great at this. It was like a natural born talent. Like, they don't see all the hours that you put in, all the work, all the research, everything. Like, how can I get this a little bit better? How can I get this a little bit better? Like, dude, they don't, because everyone's like, oh, because of now in today's age, they see Instagram, they see a dude that's a DJ on a private jet or something. Like, oh, dude, like, how am I ever going to be that? You know?
They see the highlights.
Yeah, man. And then also, like, I think a lot of people have like the wrong people around them,
Absolutely.
Dude, like, I called those guys to ask them. I was like, listen, I'm going to run across America. We're going to start this thing in March. I don't know all the details. Are you down? Like, are you in? Yeah. Like,
this is happening. Like, I don't know how, when, or what, but it's happening.
And it's like, some people would have friends like, dude, well, what if you don't? Like, what happens if, like, dude, well, this is going to cost a lot of money? Or like, dude, like, what happens if you get injured? What happens if you don't get it done? Like none of them said that, dude. They're just like, we're getting it done. We're in.
Yeah, that's
That's it, dude. Like it's not like that's the people I want to be surrounded around.
Right.
I don't want to be surrounded around the people who are just pessimistic about, dude, anything could freaking happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, I could be driving and get in a car accident and then boom, there's no more running. There's no more running for me. Right. Or worse could happen.
Right.
But dude, you're not gonna just not drive now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, everyone was like, dude, you can get really injured. You're running on the side of the highway. Like, I know that. Like, if you don't think that I thought about all those things, I've thought about it. I lived it. Like, trust me, I thought about it all. Right. But like, I just thought, okay, I can make a massive impact on this world that will be long lasting. That will affect people. Like, you know, raising that type of money to help those people and raise money for Sisters Rising worldwide and the awareness, dude, hopefully like that. And I don't need to know who it helped. Like, but like, I don't need that person even to know that I helped them, but I know that I'm helping people, you know, and that's all that matters, man. I don't need the like, oh my, congrats, Angela, you helped save this person's life. No, I don't need that. We raised the money. We did an amazing thing and we're helping save lives and, you know, bring awareness to a cause. And dude, that's what it's all about. And was worth the risk of everything else for me.
It's about getting shit done. And and I've been trying to avoid people who ask the questions like you were saying before. Oh, like, you're going to be an actor, you're going to play here, you're going to play there. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah.
Like, like I said, I go back to being grateful. I started at fucking Patty Wax on Welsh Road 2 years ago, and I just played in Atlantic City, and I just got a residency in Penn. Like, there's things that I have that builds confidence in myself. And, like, I remember, like, and you go back to when people in the beginning, I'm sure, I don't know if you have people who were going, he ain't going to do this, he ain't going to do this.
Oh, dude.
Dude, do you know how much shit I got talked about when I started this podcast? And I had Brian fucking Dawkins on episode 100. like there's nothing you can say. Like, you know what I mean? But it's the point being is that when there's people around you who ask those questions, but what? Shut up! Like, let me do it. Let him cook, right? Let him cook. Like, it won't be in one day. It won't be in a week. But come day 79, everyone's gonna rally around you. They're gonna see what you've done and you know the impact you made on human trafficking and the money. Like, that's something that I feel like gets brushed under the rug a little bit. Is like, there's one thing to run, right? To put the effort in running wise, but to raise that kind of money. I'm not trying to ask the basic question, but like, how did you do? Like, how? Because you're focused on running. You're focused on taking care of your body. Where does the quote unquote marketing of the fundraising, how does that come about? Who donates to that? How do people find that stuff? I
mean, I think it's when I thought of something, it's like to raise a lot of money, you need to be able to captivate a lot of people.
For sure. And that's my question.
And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to run across America, people have done that. There was roughly, you know, less than 400 people have ever ran across America.
I think Mike Posner did it, did he?
He walked across like the top. He almost died actually too. Dude's a savage. And I was like, okay, well, how can I up that? And I was like, all right, well, what if I wear a 15-pound weighted vest? Right, I'll be the first person to do it. I think this will just, people will ask, why is this guy wearing a vest on the side of the highway, right? Mm-hmm. You're asking more questions, okay. And then like bringing in like to symbolize, right? Like I could have worn a 1,000-pound weighted vest and it wouldn't like equaled what the weight that these victims have to live with the rest of their lives. But it was just to symbolize like, dude, we realize that you have to live with this the rest of your life. Just because like you're out of like whatever you were dealing with doesn't mean that everything is just done. Like you live with that the rest of your life, and that's what it was there to resemble.
Is that what the vest meant?
That's what the vest meant, man. It was so much bigger than me just being the first person to run across America with a 15-pound. Bro, I would have quit early on, man, because you know, like that stuff doesn't like, what is that? That doesn't really mean anything, you know. Like cool, dude, first person to do something, that's awesome, man. You know, but like to be able to, you know, show those people, and then to receive the messages from, you know, survivors and victims just saying, you know, thank you so much, and we appreciate you, and like, you know, seeing the stuff on the news and everything, like, dude, it got me through all the tough days, man.
I want to lean into that a little bit. So the human trafficking, you've had victims reach out to you.
Yes.
And so when did you read them, like at night before you went to sleep?
Well, this is like, also, man, like I stayed off social media the entirety of the.
Really?
I didn't touch it at all. I'm not like a huge social media guy. I know I post a lot, but like I really like try to stay, you know, with my time, like on like what I'm focused. And I knew I didn't want to see any bad stuff. I didn't want to see anything that could like compromise what I was doing. So, you know, Eric and Nick really handled all of my social media. Yes, I was like making videos, but they were doing like the posting. I know I would write captions, but I wouldn't really be on the app.
Right.
So there'd be days where they show me some messages like, hey, this just came in or this or that.
Right.
But it was never really at nighttime. I kind of kept that time to journal and, you know, be by myself, and, you know, it was like that.
So how important was that to stay off social media and to really be present and to journal and to because obviously in day-to-day life it can be difficult, but when you're on this journey and you're not, you know, you're journaling, you're all in your head, really don't see much from the outside world. What has that done for you, like chemically in your brain?
I just think it allowed me to stay as present as possible. You know, it may have not made a change at all, right? I could have maybe been on Instagram the whole time and been completely fine. I just wasn't willing to pay that price though, right? Like, one of the greatest quotes I've like listened to or heard while I was doing the run is like, to win anything in life, you must overpay. Like, so think about that, right?
Yeah.
So like, to win like the girl, right? To have like, you know, I have, you know, an amazing girlfriend. Like to be able to have like a girlfriend, you have to pay more than any other guy was willing to pay to have like the girl. You have to take her out on the dates. Like you have to do the things, right? To win a basketball game, you just had to sacrifice more than you ever were, like more than the other team was willing to sacrifice. You had to train more. You had to shoot. You had to practice more, all those things. Like if I came to you and you ate like the greatest steak ever, we went out to dinner, right? It was the best steak you ever had in your life. And then the bill comes out and it's like, Kev, that's $10,000. You'd be throwing up. You'd be like, dude, I'm not eating this.
Yeah,
dude.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
it. But you just ate it. But like that was like something you're not willing to overpay for.
Right.
Right. You won. You got the best steak in the world, but you weren't willing to pay that $10,000 price. So I think oftentimes people win things, but they're not willing to, you know, to overpay for them.
For sure.
You know, for me to become the first person to run across America with a 15-pound weighted vest, I was just willing to overpay more than anybody.
Yep.
That's it. You know, like the guy, Russ Cook, who ran across Africa, I don't know if you saw that. So he just ran from the bottom of Africa to the top of Africa. It took him 4 days shy of a year.
That's crazy.
Absolute savage.
Yeah.
You should look into his story.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah.
He was kidnapped, held at gunpoint, all that stuff, right? Multiple times throughout his run. He was willing to overpay. Because he had to overpay because no one was willing to pay that price.
Right.
You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. And the way I can relate that is, you know, my tailgates and my business, my DJ business. Like, so like, for example, $3,000 for a new set of speakers is more valuable than $3,000 of food, of buying food, going out to eat. If that makes sense.
For sure.
It's about where your dollar goes and what you're paying for, right? If you're paying for your career, you're paying for something you care about, that doesn't weigh on you as much as you spending it on something that like a meal or something. You know what I mean? So that makes a lot of sense. And
Absolutely.
overpaying for the things you want, and I think that's what ultimately does lead to you getting them. You know, and the consistency, and most importantly, the love of it.
Yeah.
You know, and so
for sure, dude. Like for the run, like I wasn't able to take, like for me to get off work, like, I still have my job, right? Like I had to work 600 hours of overtime.
Right.
So 600 hours of overtime in like a 4-month span. So I'm working every day, 0 days off. The only day off I had from November until February 24th is when I left, was Christmas, because it was a holiday. You can't work for time anyway on that. So it was my day off. It wasn't my holiday. So I was off on Christmas. I worked 16 hours on Christmas Eve, like working 16-hour days while running 100 miles a week with a 20-pound weighted vest, right? Just trying to adapt and get ready for it. Plus lifting in the gym, you know, plus doing all those things, plus staying healthy, right? Like I was just willing to pay that price because I was willing to pay that price for what I accomplished.
For what you exactly. And do you think that there's not enough time in the day, or do you think you don't do enough with it?
In what aspect?
So you mentioned how you worked 16 hours a day while running 100 miles a week, was it?
Yeah, 100-mile weeks, yep.
On top of staying fit and healthy. So staying fit and healthy, you're not going to a drive-thru for 10 minutes. You're cooking, you're prepping.
Yeah.
My point being is there not enough time in the day, or are we just not doing enough? So for your schedule, that's my question to you.
Yeah, I think it's like two parts to it. I don't think people delegate enough, right? I think I delegate a lot of things. You know, if I can find someone that can do something better than me, I'd rather pay somebody to do that. If you can do something better than me, do it. right? Like I don't need to be the guy that gets all the credit for things. And so I think oftentimes people, maybe they're prideful and like, oh, well, I don't want to do this, or, you know, find ways. But I think if you can schedule out your day and you can put good people around you that help you stay locked in. But dude, people will tell me all the time they don't have enough time to work out, but then like their screen time on their phone is like 8 hours.
Insane.
I'm like, bro, what do you like? I've never done an 8-hour workout in my life, you know, other than like a race or a run. But it's like I never worked out for 8 hours, like you know, like what, or like what's going on. But it's like, what's important to you, Kev? Like because dude, like, say this all the time to people. It's like, dude, I couldn't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, well, dude, what if there was $1 million? If you could get up, if you could get to the gym by 5 a.m., there'd be $1 million waiting for you, bro. You would sleep there overnight.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just not important enough for you. Like, don't tell me like you didn't want to do it or you couldn't do it. It just wasn't important enough to you, and that's okay. Like people think like I'm like coming at them, or like they're like saying, like talking bad about them. It's like, dude, like it just wasn't important enough for you.
Right.
Like the reason why you didn't eat healthy this week is because it's not important enough to you.
Right.
But that's okay. Like maybe something else isn't. Like that's the thing too. People will get it twisted sometimes with me when I say like, dude, like, oh, like all your friends like have to run and stuff like that. No, dude, I truly do not care if you run 100-mile races or any of that. We can still be friends. Just be passionate about what you do.
Right.
You know, like not everyone has to be the same. Like it's okay. Yeah. Like you love DJing. I am never going to be a DJ. Doesn't mean I hate you. Like you love what you do. I respect the hell out of you.
Yeah.
You know, like that's why we're friends. Is because I respect people who love what they do. One of my best friends in the world, Levi, he played offensive line at East Stroudsburg for me. I love the dude to death. I love his family. He's a history teacher and a football coach. Right? Yeah. He is 275 pounds. Yeah. And people are like, dude, how are you guys friends? I'm like, dude, we're the same person. We have different passions.
Right.
Everything that guy does, he does with a passion unknown to mankind.
Yep.
Same thing with me.
Yeah.
But our passions are just different. He loves coaching football. He loves being a history teacher.
Right.
I love going on runs and doing epic things.
Right. Yeah. And it's the quality of the person. And having someone in your life that's passionate about something naturally makes you question, what am I doing? And that's the point of surrounding yourself with good people, because let's say you find you have your football coach and history teacher friend Levi who loves what he does, and you see yourself, you're like, yo, I don't know what I love yet. I don't know what I'm passionate about. Surrounding yourself with people like that helps you question whether or not you know what you want to do in your life. You know, and yeah, dude, and exactly the same thing. That's why me and you were friends, is like, you love what you do, and I can watch from afar when you're on your journey from California to New York, and same thing, you can watch me when I'm playing somewhere, like, and then you can come together and have these kind of conversations, and also like figure out, okay, cool, what's next? Like that's the cool shit. Like, and the thing that I think a lot of people forget about is, you know, obviously people say time is short. I just feel like I don't like that phrasing, just because I truly don't think we do enough in our days. And I think a lot of times, people forget that, you know, for example, someone's scared to do something. They end up doing it, and they find out that is the best decision they ever made. A lot of times people stay comfortable. They stay they don't stay, you know, with what they want to do, right? They stay what's comfortable. And I think that's ultimately the killer of people's dreams and ultimately what they do in their life, you know? And like I said, it's really cool to see you to be able to go out of your comfort zone and do this, because I think it can inspire a lot of people to push themselves further. And I think the world needs more of that. And on top of the amazing cause you've done it for, and the results that's shown, I hope people can learn something from you. And I really appreciate that. And I really respect you as a person, as a friend, and everything. And yeah, it was cool. It's really nice to see, because I would watch like your Instagram videos, and I would see I see the momentum picking up. Like some people commenting, showing love, and I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, hell yeah, because your following grew a lot since then, and I'm like, hell yeah, because it's a good, healthy motivator. Yo, so my buddy Andrew's doing this, that's amazing. I wanna be like him, you know. And I think that's a really cool quality to have as a friend, is to want to be like the person you surround yourself with, which is awesome. So I appreciate that, man.
Nah, absolutely, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, I think what you said about like complacency and everything too is like, you know, people get so comfortable in, you know, maybe you're driving like the car that you want, or you're working a job that, like, I think the worst thing people can do is like just giving up on their dreams. Like that's like the worst thing you could ever do is just give up on your dreams. Just like, well, dude, like my life's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people thinking, honestly, bro. And people thinking that their dreams are too crazy to chase. I think the thing that people forget, no one is like anyone else. You look at, for me, you look at like a John Summit or Dom Dollar, whatever, whoever you're looking at, they're not the same person as me. They didn't grow up in Philadelphia, in Northeast Philadelphia, go to Archbishop Bryan, do that whole 9. They didn't. So why am I going to subject myself to their journey? If I become successful at 34, then it's the same thing. It's the same place. It's the same locations. It's just the timing is different for everybody. And, I think you learn a lot along that journey, and people are going to call you crazy, but we're at the age now where that shit doesn't matter.
No.
Remember like 16, 17 when we were in high school and like, you don't want to get bullied for this. You don't get bullied for that. We're at the age now where it doesn't fucking matter. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit at the end of the day, like, because they got their own problems. And I want people to learn that and to,
don't be afraid to fail, bro.
Right.
That's like that. That's like the thing is like, cause like with like what you were doing and everything like that, everyone's like, oh, well, dude, like what if you like doesn't work? And then like you're 30 years old, you've never had a 9-to-5 job. I guess we'll find out, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah, you can come to my set. But
Right.
it's so funny because I did it. I have a 9-to-5. I did a social media for a nonprofit, and I lasted like 4 months.
Yeah.
I couldn't wake up for Monday meetings, bro. I was
Right.
like it was awful.
Yeah.
So what was it? First attempt in learning.
That's what fail stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I agree. I like that. Yeah, and and failing is when you give up. You know,
dude, it's
and
just
when
an
you stop.
attempt. It's just an attempt. And I think, one of my like little pet peeves is like when I say I'm gonna do something, I'll never say it as an attempt. Like it was never an attempt to run. I'm gonna run across America.
gonna
Like
do it.
don't even put that. And if you fail, if you fail, it's just attempt number 1.
Yeah.
Right. It's just attempt number 1. But I don't even put that word. Like, when I was trying to run a sub 3 hour marathon, I never said like this is my first sub 3 hour. No, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this
I like
done.
that. Yeah.
And if it doesnlike happen, like, dude, all right, attempt number 1.
Yeah, and I like that because I know I catch myself sometimes when people say, "Oh, like, congratulations," or whatever. I'm like, I'm trying, but it's like it's a horrible way to say it. It's like, thank you, I appreciate that. Now, what's next in your head? And it's like a lot because sometimes my personality, I tend to downplay myself a little bit, just because I believe that's what's right. But I like the way you say it is you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that because that I don't know if you believe in God or anything, but to me, I'm more of an energy and a spiritual kind of person now.
Sure.
Just because of how my life has gone, and the way I feel is when you put that out there, the world it naturally, it's a law of attraction. It brings it to you, right? Because you're putting the work in towards it, and hopefully people can start doing that, and because it feels good, at the end of the day, it feels good. Like it feels good for me that I'm very blessed and fortunate that I don't have to work a 9-to-5 that I don't want to do. I get to pursue a passion that I love and grow, and like I said, but always remaining grateful for everything, and because I do remember where I started.
100%. 100%. And dude, people who are working a 9-to-5 job, if you love what you're doing, I salute you. Like, dude, that's what people get twisted too. It's like, dude, if you love what you're doing, like if you're passionate, like we need people who are passionate. Like I'm not going to be a mechanic, right? But like if you're passionate about cars, bro, be a mechanic.
But that's the thing.
Like do your thing.
But that's the thing. It's not I guess that the word 9-to-5 is a negative connotation towards it. I guess my phrasing is people like finding something you're passionate about and being able to build a life around it. You know what I mean? Like no matter what it is, if you love to teach, if you love to, coach football, if you love to be a mechanic, a plumber, like we all need to do that shit.
100%.
But it's just like finding your passion, finding what you love. I feel like life's too short and there's too many options. For whatever's left of this country, it is still great. We are still an amazing country, and I think people should try to lean more towards pursuing their passions for sure.
It'll make you happier. Stop trying to make everyone else happy. It'll make you happier, and maybe that 9-to-5 that you work, maybe it allows you to live the life outside of that you want
for sure. Right.
And like that's okay too.
Yeah.
Everyone has a different path of like, you know, what you're doing and how you get things done. And I think that's the most beautiful thing, Kev, is like just do what you want to do, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
That's it.
I want to ask you one final question, and this will be for the people listening who've stuck around this long. So through this journey, is there anything that you've ultimately learned about yourself and that you've picked up from when you started that you're going to start carrying into your life every day?
One thing I learned about myself is that I am who I say I am. I feel an undeniable amount of proof that I am that person, and you know, that's really what I figured out. And then, you know, too, is just like to continue to dream and think bigger. You know, I like this time last year when we were sitting down having this like I never even thought like, you know, something like this was gonna like happen and like and get done and all this stuff. So it's like a year from now, who knows what can happen. I'm just gonna continue to think bigger and continue to think like, all right, what else can I do? How else can I make a bigger impact? And like stop, like, you know, don't put limitations on yourself. Like if you can come up with the idea, you can make it happen. Right. And you know, just having that amount of proof that, you know, I was able to do that with this run and put all the pieces together and have the most amazing crew. You know, we'll run it back and we'll get something else done.
Hell yeah. And I'm excited to see what you do. And it's all because you started, right? You just started and figured it out along the way. So, Linder, congratulations, brother. My man, I love you, buddy.
Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you for coming on the pod and giving me your time. And I'm excited to see what you do next. And excited to do it episode 3, episode 4. You know,
excited for you,
for the next cool thing you do. So
it'll be dope.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on the pod. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as well. Linder, where can they find you on social media?
At Andrew M. Linder on all social media.
All right, hell yeah. And stay tuned for what he does next. He's going to be going Mount Kilimanjaro or some shit next. We'll save it now. My name's Kevnichols. That's Andrew Linder. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Loft. Peace, guys. Peace.